Call of Duty Modern Warfare is finally out, and the internet is up in arms with many criticisms of the game, particularly around the multiplayer. Now, if you've read the title and you've clicked this video, you've probably got an idea of what I'm about to review. This is a multiplayer review only. As I film this video, I haven't played the campaign of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, so please just bear that in mind. This is not the video for you if you're looking for a campaign review or campaign early thoughts. Now, before I dive into this, I want you guys to know that I've been playing Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. It was my very first game that I played online, and I loved the grind, and unfortunately Call of Duty lost its way. I fell out of love with Black Ops 4 around the kind of midpoint of the season last year. I completely deleted it off my PlayStation and I never went back to it because I was absolutely sick of how unrealistic Call of Duty became to be. We had the boost jump in way back in the Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare days of Call of Duty. Then it went back to boots on ground in World War II, and I started to really enjoy Call of Duty again. But then Black Ops 4 came out, and for me there was a slight shift back. What I wanted is a Modern Warfare multiplayer experience that took me back to what I loved with Call of Duty 4. Let's take a look at this. If you're new here, subscribe and don't go anywhere. So Modern Warfare has no loot boxes and no kind of supply drops, which we've seen in many other Call of Duty games. And for a start, I think that is a fantastic way to start and sell the brand new Call of Duty game, because it is all about the grind once again. And I really, really love that. I've wanted nothing more than just to sit at my PlayStation and grind through TDM and other multiplayer modes to level up and just earn different attachments, different underbarrels, different optics, and believe you me, there's plenty to choose from. And as I'm kind of going through, I slowly realise that this is actually going to be an immensely rewarding game, not for the purchases, the microtransactions and all that crap we've had to deal with in the past, but just for the grind. So I'm super, super stoked that we have taken a step back for once, regardless of whether or not Activision are the publisher, and they are, and we know they're money grabbing, but there seems to be something that's been heard over at the Activision HQ, or unless Sledgehammer Games have been pushing the notion that they want to get Call of Duty players back because of the grind for multiplayer. Now, in terms of what we're used to, and I'm nowhere near this level, but there's no such thing as prestige anymore. You unlock officer ranks at level 55. That's not capped either. You can continue to progress up to level 155, continuing to unlock different things for your weapons, different little perks that you can tweak within your loadout, and I really like that. And then when the season starts again, everything will be reset, but the good thing about this experience is that we're going to get to keep everything that we've already unlocked in Modern Warfare. Whereas before, you'd lose a load of stuff and you'd just spend an unlock token to keep one gun open, like in World War II and Black Ops 4. I really didn't like that, because what's the point in grinding all that way to then capitalise right at the top level and then lose it all? It doesn't motivate gamers. So I think if you're going into Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you hopefully will feel a little bit more motivated to play the multiplayer. Not to mention the fact that it's got a campaign, so if you're not a multiplayer person, at least you guys can park yourself in the campaign lane of Modern Warfare. Bear in mind, when you start, you can't customise your loadouts until level 4. One thing that I wasn't overly a fan of was that the default loadouts of the weapons didn't feel overly powerful at the start of the game, and I've never experienced that with Call of Duty games. Usually I find that the default cookie cutter vanilla loadouts before you can customise are really gnarly, but these just felt really slow, clunky, and I couldn't wait to get to level 4, so I was then able to kind of open up my gameplay. So what I was tending to do was just to loot people, like before I hit level 4, I was just like killing people and then looting them for their much better weapons, and actually feeling a huge difference in gameplay. So what do I mean by that? Well, the guns actually feel, for once, very, very different. Now, it's hard for me to kind of push this notion to you at home, to wherever you're watching this, but trust me, if I kind of like utilize the physics notion, you know, you can almost feel it like, regardless of the rumble in your controller, you can feel and you can see the difference in whatever weapon you pick. Even if you change and say you just like a slight tweak, you change the underbarrel of your gun, there's a monumental difference, as there should be a difference on game. And I think that was for me one of the biggest things that I noticed in the feel and the delivery of the gameplay on multiplayer, was just the weapons just feel phenomenal. You feel powerful, but then you feel the complete opposite, depending on how you tweak your gameplay. One other small gripe, I think the sprint. Now for me, as a run and gunner on TDM, sprinting is an integral part of my gameplay. So I want to be able to sprint super darn fast. Now the default speed for sprinting isn't that great. You do almost feel like you're in semi-slow motion, even slower than what I felt in World War II. So I guess what that says to me is I need to play it more, grind more, unlock more perks, and hopefully get some like Iron Lung or something like we've seen on past Call of Duty games, where I can just run that little bit faster. There is infinite sprint as well, because that was introduced in the last Call of Duty, so I'm glad that was ported over to this. And overall, I'm super stoked so far with the way the game feels. Now, in terms of maps, we have no season pass this year. Sledgehammer have said that content is going to be free and it's going to be rolled out pretty quickly post-launch. That could mean we could have maps imminent, not just for PlayStation users, but for Xbox and PC, as we now have this mammoth culture of crossplay, which has become incredibly important to gamers. So we, as PS4 users, can play with Xbox users and vice versa. Now there is an option to turn crossplay off. And what I like about it is if like in your lobby, it tells you if the person you're playing against is playing with a controller or a mouse. So that's pretty darn cool. I definitely think PC players will have an edge, but I guess console players can also have an edge if you have something like a SCUF controller with hairline triggers and just a really nice customized controller to increase your agility, increase your stability, and increase your reaction time. So crossplay is really, really awesome. I'm so stoked that was introduced. And personally, I think we're going to see a lot more crossplay as we kind of progress into the next generation of gaming. So I digressed slightly there, as I wanted to talk to you guys about maps before I went off on a tangent about getting them for free. You do start with some really, really sick maps, both day and night cycle maps, not on them all, but say for example the likes of Piccadilly, which is a very small close quarters Piccadilly Circus in London, of course. There's a night cycle and there's a day cycle of that map. So going into it again, there's a nice bit of variation. What I don't like is that some of the maps feel far too big, but I think it depends on what game mode you're on, so be mindful that in TDM you might prefer something which is a lot smaller, like Piccadilly. When maps are a little bit bigger, the gameplay slows down significantly, but of course you have to have a nice variety. And overall, the aesthetics of the map, which for me are incredibly important, so I like that kind of desert-esque feel, Middle Eastern kind of desert-esque. There's that in there, and that just warms my gaming soul more than you will ever know, because I don't like industrial maps. I don't like just factories and things like that. And again, we saw that even in like World War II. Didn't like it, didn't appreciate it, and I'm really hoping that when the new maps drop, that the map theme stays true to that kind of just genuineness and just less kind of tacky feel. Now one thing that I think really spoiled Call of Duty for me personally, and I'm talking multiplayer here, are the camos on the weapons. I absolutely could not stand guns with like rainbow camos or unicorn guns. I just think it was absolute ludicrous, because it's not true to real life. And that's where I really like Battlefield games over Call of Duty. There's an element of realism that Call of Duty needs to pay attention to. And so far, I've seen that within Modern Warfare. Let's hope that as the season progresses, they don't start introducing Leprechaun and Santa Claus and, you know, Easter bunny guns. Like, I understand that it's nice to have those kind of seasonal changes with Call of Duty. Personally, for me, I don't think it adds much value. I think it is just a little gimmick to get players to play. You're playing the same game whether or not there's a leprechaun painted on the wall or not. Nothing against leprechauns, I absolutely love St. Patrick's Day. I love Santa Claus. I love every season change, but I just would prefer it to stay away from Call of Duty. What do you guys think? So I think I've spouted my initial thoughts of Call of Duty Modern Warfare's multiplayer enough. It's over to you guys now. I want you guys to go crazy in the comment section below and tell me some of your thoughts. And if you've played the campaign, then please feel free to digress and tell us some of your thoughts about the campaign experiences. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to be back for more content on Wednesday. Please check out the playlist. Everything that you need is linked in the description. There's so much stuff on my channel. So hit that subscribe button, guys. My name is Gemma. Have a good day. Take care. See you soon.